Today, I'm going to be talking about branding tips for music producers. These are effective strategies for music marketing and growth as a producer. This is going to be presented by me, who has been a music producer for the past decade professionally. Branding is no longer optional for music producers. The modern music industry, it's a very crowded market full of beat makers, loop makers, and producer artists, and your brand can determine whether you're heard or ignored. This presentation and video will walk you through how to build an authentic, powerful producer brand with actionable steps for every stage. A lot of people talk about branding and the power of brand, but don't actually give you steps for what to do to build that brand. So we're going to make sure we give a lot of actionable steps that are very small and that after this video, you can literally get started doing to grow your brand today. Number one, you need to define your identity. In a crowded music market, standing out is going to be crucial for success. Effective branding will allow you to build a loyal, consistent fan base and increase your earning potential in the music industry. Because if you're watching this video and trying to build a brand, you probably also want to make a career in music. And the only way you can build a career in music is if your earning potential is enough to cover the costs of your lifestyle. Before you start thinking about things that people talk about with branding, like logos and colors, which are all very important, you need to start with your core identity. Your brand's going to begin with clarity and understanding about who you are, what you make, and why it matters, and who you want to be and how you want to be for other people. Here's the actionable steps for this. Number one, write a brand statement. I produce dark, cinematic trap beats inspired by film scores and video games. I think that this is a great brand message if you know what type of beats you want to make. And here are some of the key questions you should ask when you're writing a brand statement. What genre or genres define you? Now, an outlier in this I want to say is that there are people who have built really strong brands with being someone who is very versatile and can do any genre or is genre fluid. They can create any style of music. They don't have to just focus on one thing. And you obviously can expand your brand statement as time goes on. So you are able to add genres later. I do think that knowing that is important. You should also ask the key question of what emotion should listeners to your music feel? What emotion should customers of yours feel? Things like that. You want to ask who's your audience and who do you want your audience to be? What type of avatar, what type of people are you trying to connect with? What type of people do you want to see your stuff? And you should also ask what makes your process or sound unique. Because in a crowded music industry, if you can be unique, you're going to stand out. Your brand identity will guide every creative and business decision you make if you wrote a good brand statement, wrote a good brand identity. Now, you should craft a unique producer name. Now, for some people, they're like me. They just use their actual name. Mine's ZachMichael, right? In that case, you might be able to kind of skip this. If you're using your real name, kind of carry on. But if you want to create a brand around a producer name, like a Murder Beats or a Metro Boomin, you're going to want to craft a unique producer name. Your producer name is your calling card. It's how people will remember you. It's what people will call you. You want to choose a name that feels personable, but also marketable. Your name should feel like an extension of your identity. It should be recognizable, unique, and searchable. I'm going to repeat this last one because a lot of people mess this one up when it comes to branding. Searchable. Searchable. My name is ZachMichael, but I go by TheZachMichael. Why? You can search that and it comes up across every social media. You can search that on Google. I pop up. You look up ZachMichael, there's a lot of ZachMichaels. Not as easily searchable. So, even if you use your name, do it in a way where it's still searchable. You want to check the availability. Ensure the name is open on all the platforms that you care about. If you're going to sell beats on BeatStars, it needs to be available there. If you're going to have your own website, it needs to be a domain. You got to have it on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify if you're going to release your own music. It's super important. Your name really matters. Short, catchy names like a Metro Boomin or a Murder Beats stick. Some people's names are impossible to pronounce or impossible to spell, and you want to make sure this stuff is short and catchy. And if you're not sure if it's a good name or not, test it. Ask your friends or ask a Reddit community or something like that if it sounds memorable and if it fits your sound. Now, you've kind of done some of those things. You have a name, etc. Now it's time to develop a visual brand. Your visuals make your brand instantly recognizable and set the emotional tone for your music. Here's some actionable steps on how to build a visual brand. Your logo. Hire a designer or make it yourself. Keep it simple and scalable. If you go on YouTube right now and you look up how to make a logo in whatever program you have, very possible to learn how to make a logo yourself in an hour or two. So you can definitely do that. Or if you want to hire a designer because you have a specific vision that you can't make, feel free to do that. You can also start developing your color palette. You want to choose 3 to 5 colors that match your energy, what kind of colors you like to use. So maybe your brand is a bit dark and edgy, so you use like dark purples and dark blues and things like that. Maybe it's warm and vintage. You create more like boom bap and soul style stuff. So you're going to want to use, I don't know, different browns and oranges and yellows, things like that. Maybe it's clean and futuristic. So everything's going to be kind of white and silver and that kind of vibe. It just depends what you want. Also think about which fonts you're going to use, and I would strongly recommend using these fonts consistently across platforms. You obviously can get away with using different fonts, especially in the music space, because if you're a producer, primarily audio is going to be your focus, but I do think having a font that's kind of consistent can help people stand out and look more professional. And this one I think is actually really important, and a lot of producers kind of skip this one. This is a mood board. I think you should collect inspiration on Pinterest or in your head to maintain a consistent vibe across all your visuals and releases. You kind of have some sort of reference point that you use. And this mood board becomes very valuable as you scale your team, if you're going to grow a team. This allows people to kind of see what your vision is, kind of curate toward that mood board. This visual consistency will build professional credibility, which is an area that most producers just lack. They don't really have much professionalism. So building that professional credibility will allow you to stand out. Now, when it comes to branding, social media is one of the most important places to focus on your brand. And we need to optimize your social media presence. Social media is not just for promotion. It's not just to advertise. It's actually your brand's narrative. And you can use social media to tell stories, build community, and showcase process. Social media is one of the greatest inventions that the music industry has ever had. And I need people to stop feeling victim mentality when it comes toward social media. Social media has put a billboard with millions of eyeballs into your pocket as long as you have a phone, completely for free. And all you have to do is use it authentically, consistently, and use it to tell stories, build community, and showcase process in a way that audiences want to see. Social media can absolutely change your music career, and it's completely free if you're willing to work hard at it and really learn how to use it and really think about it from an audience's perspective. Here's some actionable steps. In the beginning, I think you should focus on 2 to 3 platforms. I've seen some people have success only focusing on one, but my advice is usually 2 or 3, just because different platforms in the music industry are good for different. My recommendation is Instagram plus TikTok plus YouTube. Let me explain. Instagram. Here's why Instagram is pretty much one of the most important places where a lot of the networking is actually going to happen in music. A lot of people are going to check out your Instagram. That's kind of like your resume or your calling card in the music industry. TikTok, really great for short form discovery. It allows you to put out a lot of content quickly. It allows you to be very discoverable. Being discovered and letting people feel like they discovered you is super important, whether that's a song you just released or you want to showcase your loops or whatever it is. Allowing people to feel like they've discovered your beats, discovered your sound, and then sharing that is very great. And YouTube is a great platform for building depth, right, with your audience. So Instagram and TikTok can kind of build that initial relationship or that short-term interest in you. YouTube is where you really build depth with your audience. You can be, creating long-form content that can provide a lot of value to people. And you can also repurpose your TikToks into YouTube Shorts. So you still have some more discoverability there. And with those short pieces of content you're creating, having them go on 2 platforms just doubles your chances of shareability and allows more people to see your stuff. Beyond that, you want to keep your bios consistent. Who you are, what you make, and where to find your beats. A lot of people's bios are different on every platform, and they provide absolutely no value to an audience member if they stumble upon your page. You want people to know who you are, what do you make, and where to find your beats. All this stuff needs to be super easy. If it's not easy, they're going to move on to someone who is. Plain and simple. You also need to create a content calendar. Here's a sample content calendar that I give people when they're just getting started. On Monday, show a beat breakdown. Pick your favorite beat that you made this week and break it down. This type of content will allow you to connect with more producers, right? On Wednesday, give people a tip or studio vlog. Just show them something that you've learned throughout your career and just be 100% honest. Maybe you're just getting started, so you can't really offer advice on the complexities of navigating major label record deals because you haven't had one yet. But you can give an industry tip on how to stay inspired when you're starting to create content, right? So just be very authentic with where you are in your career when you're giving these tips. And on Friday, do a collab spotlight or a reel and, highlight one of your collaborators or showcase some music that you guys made together. I like this type of content especially because it shows people you're open to collaborating and that you like highlighting and supporting your collaborators. Your collaborators might repost some of this content, or they might just feel really cool that you were willing to take some time out of your day to put some spotlight on them. And it's also just like an additional value that collaborators will see, and they might reach out to you, work with you, because you provide them value in creating these spotlights. And this consistency with your content calendar will build recognition and trust. Now, here's how to build your signature sound and beat tag. Your sound is your brand in audio form. Listeners should recognize your production style. And when people can recognize your beats by sound alone, your brand is working. A great example of this is Cardo. Producer Cardo has worked on a lot of records with a lot of different artists over the years, ranging from Playboi Carti, Drake, Travis, Kendrick, and a lot of different people. And one of the sounds that he is recognizable for is the cowbell in his drums, right? And a lot of people can, especially producers, can hear a Cardo beat, check the credits, and know it's a Cardo beat without him having a tag on it. It's because people recognize that cowbell, they recognize the drum bounce. That's his signature sound and style. Now, he's obviously very versatile and can do a lot of different things, but whenever he uses a signature sound, you know it's his. But there's other ways to do it. One of those ways is to create a beat tag that reflects your tone, whether that's going to be serious, mysterious, funny, or cinematic. When you create a beat tag, though, make sure it still leaves room for an artist. Some people's tags are just super long or over dramatic to the point where the artists kind of skip your beats because of it, and you still want to get placements while you're building this brand if your goal is to get placements. Also, identify your sonic signatures, which are like your go-to progressions, textures, or drums. Early on in Nick Mira's career, he's a great example of this. He used a lot of the same chord progressions and a lot of similar sounds and omnisphere and things like that to really build this emotional and emo rap style production. If you hear a Nick Mira type beat, you can hear some of these similarities. Now, obviously, since then, he's expanded doing a lot of different styles of music and using a lot of different progressions and things like that. But when you're first getting started, identify what your sonic signature is and kind of lean into that for a bit. And if you don't know what your sonic signature is, make a producer starter pack. Take a playlist or reel and take like 5 to 10 of your beats that really define your sound and showcase them. Over time, people will kind of pick up on what. Now, producers, you need to do this. You need to design a professional website or landing page or pay someone to do it. But I think that this is a skill you can learn as well. YouTube University exists, and there's a ton of articles online on how to do this. Your website is your digital headquarters. It's a place that you own that shows you're serious and professional. You have full control over this website. You should include a short bio, your beat store or streaming links, a contact form that works, that you check, that you respond to, links to all your social media, and if possible, a branded domain like yournamebeats.com. Professional site will make collaborations, placements, and clients more likely to trust and contact you. These sites will make people want to collaborate with you. They will lead to more placements, and clients will be more likely to reach out to you, which is what you want. Obviously, you're going to reach out to other people, but you also want people to be able to reach you. If you're going to create content where people like it, probably going to want to connect with you. Having a place that they can go to do that is going to be important. A lot of people overcomplicate websites. They make it too complex. They make it too quote unquote cool that they neglect all of the main information that people want. Focus less on what it looks like and more on how it functions, because function first is what they're going to care about. Obviously, once you have that, then put your visual brand to it, your visual identity to it. But first, make sure all these things are actually on your website before you focus on them. A lot of people get caught up in which colors they're going to use on their website for different sections, but then their contact form doesn't even work. So you want to make sure that that's working. Now, as a producer, you need to be consistent with your messaging. Every caption, thumbnail, and visual should sound and look like you. That consistency builds familiarity, builds trust, and builds people wanting to follow you and stay followed to you. Here's some actionable steps on this. You can develop a voice guide. Are you going to be chill, funny, mysterious, motivational. Stick to it. Most of the time, your voice guide is just going to be who you authentically are. And I think that if you just lean into that, you'll actually get a lot further. You also create branded hashtag, whether that's like hashtag beats by Tony or hashtag your producer tag or your tagline. That just allows people to kind of discover your stuff, and also over time might kind of create a trend for people that, can lead back to you. I think you should also use social media templates for posts, thumbnails, and emails to save time while keeping a unified aesthetic. A lot of people just try all these different styles every single week. Pick a style, stick with it. It's going to look a lot more consistent, and that's going to transform casual followers into loyal fans and audience members. Now, networking and collaborating intentionally. Your brand will grow faster with community. Your brand will grow faster with collaboration, because collaborations help you expand visibility and credibility very quickly if you're networking and collaborating intentionally. With the right people, you're going to expand visibility and credibility and provide that to your collaborator as well, intentionally. Here's the actionable steps here. Connect with other producers, artists, engineers, and YouTubers. Offer value to them. Offer to give them visibility and credibility before asking for anything in return. If you don't know where to connect with people, join online communities like a Reddit forum or a Discord group. There's a bunch of these online. You can find them. And if you really can't find one, start your own community. If you're active in it, people will come. And if it provides value to people, they will come. Also, collaborate with musicians who share your aesthetic, post about the process. If you create the collaboration like reels that we were talking about before every Friday in the content calendar, find someone else who creates those every single Friday. Collaborate with them. Get a lot further. Strategic networking can build both your reputation and your creative reach. And if you provide value to other people, they're going to want to provide it to you. Now, I think you should invest into quality visuals. Now, invest does not necessarily mean that you have to pay. You can invest money, but you can also invest time and resources into learning the skills necessary to create quality visuals. In music, visuals are the perception. Poor visuals make good music seem amateur, and strong visuals will enhance and elevate your brand instantly. In general, visual absolutely impacts how music is perceived. Sync licensing, which is the space where music is paired with visual media. The reason sync licensing pays so much is because the music enhances the visual and the visual enhances the music. So the value for both goes up. So investing in quality visuals makes the value of your music go up. The actionable steps here are using consistent cover art direction for your BeatStars website, your YouTube, and your Spotify. You're going to want to create branded templates for YouTube, Instagram beat drops, Spotify singles, etc. Now, branded doesn't mean it has to look the same every time, but you might want to have similar colors, similar styles, etc. Good design will communicate professionalism and confidence, which are two traits that most serious clients are going to be looking for. Now, we talked before about optimizing social media, but I also think that you should be optimizing for email marketing and monetization. Email is your direct connection to real fans and clients, and you don't have to rely on social media algorithms. Social media algorithms go up and down, they change all the time, and you can lose access to your audience through this if you're not evolving with the platforms. Email is a lot more direct, and you own it. Your brand should generate both influence and income over time. How do you get people to start your email list, though? Offer a freebie, a sample pack, a loop kit, or an exclusive beat for email signups. This is simple. Find an offer of something you can give people for free that is so good, they would be an idiot not to give you their email, right? For some people, an exclusive beat might cost $250 or even more. But if you tell every artist that you will give them a free beat for $250, if all they do is give you their email, most artists are going to take that, right? Because that value that you're providing is so good, they would be a fool to turn it down. A sample pack full of hundreds of your best melodies completely for free, producers would be a fool not to get that if they really like those melodies. That's what you want to be thinking. Once you have people on your email list, though, you need to send bi-weekly email updates with new beats or sample drops, behind-the-scenes stories, sync placements, sync opportunities, or milestones Just stuff to keep providing value and also let people know that you still exist. And once you have this email list and it has a bunch of people on it, you can then monetize your brand through beat licensing, leasing, sales, sync licensing, working with people for music like that, sample packs and kits, Patreon or merch, one-on-ones where you give people more knowledge, whatever it is, just different ways to monetize through that email list, and you own that email. You own those emails versus social media where the algorithm could change. Now, great, you want to start building a brand. This is going to be the biggest difference between the people who grow their brand and people who don't. You need to actually track growth. You can't grow what you don't measure. You want to review your analytics monthly at least and adjust your strategy. Your strategies evolve. Everything I gave here is great general strategy, but your specific branding strategy may evolve and may change. And you will know how to change your strategy based off your analytics and studying the growth. The actionable steps here are track with YouTube Studio, Instagram Insights, and Google Analytics for your website. Let's talk about YouTube Studio for a second. Let's say you're creating content on YouTube. You've put out a video 3 times a week for the past month. At the end of the month, you can gauge which topics people are engaged with, which topics people aren't. You can see the retention charts. Where do people get bored of your videos? What did you do at this part of the video that made 50% of the viewers click off? Studying that is going to be important for enhancing your brand ability. I also think that you need to set measurable, actionable goals. Gain 500 followers. Land 1 sync placement. Post consistently for 30 days. My favorite goals are actionable goals that you can control the destiny of. So while I personally don't set goals like gain 500 followers or land 1 sync placement, I've set a lot of actionable goals like post consistently for 30 days, upload this amount of reels this year, reach out to this amount of people authentically throughout the year, etc. And you can adapt your strategy based on what's working and also trim the fat. The things that are not working, cut them out and focus on the things that are working best. Final thoughts here is that your brand as a music producer is not just your logo or sound. It's the emotion and experience people associate with you and your music. Build a brand that's consistent, authentic, and memorable. Because in today's music industry, the brand is your beats and the experience. And if you have both of those, you can build a really profitable career as a music producer in the modern music industry.